Not yet.
Okay.
I can hear you, just can't see anything quite yet.
All right, let me try coming back into my own classroom again. How about now? All right, Julie says you can see and hear me, so this is great.
I got you too now. We're good.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to go into presentation mode. All right, here we go. So I have already shared my presentation with you, but just to be safe, I'll copy it and put it in our meet one more time, because I know like I've had to pop in and out of meets today, and it's like you lose the chat if you pop out and then pop back in. So that's the presentation today, and it's a view only. If you need to like use ideas from it, I just ask that you make your own copy. And here we go. All right, so today's idea is to talk to you about the Kentucky Virtual Library. I have included on the first slide the actual link to the library. They have a YouTube channel. They also have Facebook. And let me just tell you, their librarians there are wonderful, wonderful resources. If you contact them and say, hey, I'm in the library, this is not working, they will stop everything to try to help you if they can. They'll even schedule Zooms and webinars with you. It's really awesome. So today, like, why are we even here? Why are we talking about Kentucky Virtual Library? So we're going to answer these questions. We're going to give you time to play with it. And so the questions that we're asking is, why is it beneficial to students and teachers? What is it even? And then how do I get started? So to answer the what is it, I'm going to click on my Bitmoji book there, and it takes you to this link, which is a chart. You know, gotta love the little colorful stars here. But it's a database, guys. It's a full collection, a whole library online. So everything that you could possibly want is here, whether you are an elementary school teacher, middle school, or high school. So if you are a teacher wanting to do small group readings or a chapter book reading with your whole class, and they don't have access to the materials, you have the EBSCO eBooks collection, K through 8. You have Team Book Cloud and the Tumble Book Library, and they have whole copies of books that are available to you. You can, and I'm going to show you how you can share just one chapter at a time, how you can play audio for it, and things like that. So I forgot to say, if I'm going too fast, stop me. You're welcome to use the link and work ahead and look at things ahead of time. We're all adults, we're all professionals, so do what you need to do so that you're successful during this training time. All right, so databases that are currently available. These are the benefits of the Kentucky Virtual Library. Number one, it's free. Hardin County pays for a subscription to it, and only Kentucky residents can use this. So my best friend that teaches in Florida, sorry, she doesn't have access to all of this for her students. You cannot put the virtual library username and password that I'm going to give you in a minute. You cannot put that on your school website, but you could print it on your report cards from Infinite Campus. You can put it in your classroom, your Remind, your Dojo, your Wakelet, as long as you are presenting those things in a closed setting. It's also safe. It's hundreds of resources, access to lesson plans, connections to the Google Classroom. You're differentiating. You're putting books back into the hands of the kids. You have ACT and AP test practice. You can teach opposing viewpoints for the high school. You've got APA, MLA style, audio readings, and so much more. So let's go back to this. All right, toolboxes of handouts and training materials. So on the actual site, when I take you there, I'm going to close this from full screen so you can see it. All right. Once you are in, you have a whole toolbox, but I need to back up a second. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like a slide got misplaced. There we go. So let me make this bigger for you. So this slide right here is an overview, okay? I included the YouTube link here again, because if you are in high school, you really could use a whole hour of Kentucky Virtual Library training. And today we just don't have enough time with all 3 grades to go over what high school has available. But they have Learning Express, they have career opportunities, ACT prep, AP test practice, and just so much, how to build a resume, how to write a business letter, how to word an email, things like that, life skills that the kids need. Now, each of you have a handout here, and on your handout, they all pretty much look the same, except for the parts that are different for your grade levels. All of you today, if you are going to the website, all of you are going to need this part right here. Okay? This is your user ID. This is your password for the whole district. This is what your students have to have. Okay? And if they don't have this, they're not going to be able to get that access. You can use this with your staff. You can add things to it that would be more beneficial to your grade or your staff. One thing that I added, this is Enid. And Miss Wolstein, she is with Kentucky Virtual Library. Guys, during NTI, she met with me on a Zoom, just me only, for like an hour. I contacted her earlier this week for a refresher. She met with me the very next day. She's phenomenal, full of ideas. She's a great resource. In fact, I think on the middle school handout, I think I referred to her as like the goddess of Kentucky Virtual Library. So, that said, these are handouts for you guys. You definitely want to go to the bottom and use the username and password, okay? That way you can follow along and practice with me a little bit today. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to give you an overview of the different toolboxes and the different resources that are out there for us teachers, okay? So it can get a little overwhelming. Do not, I cannot repeat this enough. Do not just put a link to Kentucky Virtual Library in your classroom and say, go for it. Your students are going to get overwhelmed. There's going to be crying. It's going to be ugly. You're probably going to cry too. And that is just not best practice. You're going to have to walk them through and chunk the information and model the information for them. All right. So let's show you what we have. Is everybody still hearing me okay? Okay. Yes, and it is amazing. Okay. If you guys are not hearing me or I'm going too fast or you need me to go back, please turn off your microphone and nicely tell me, because I can't see the chat when I'm on these other websites. All right, so I am in Kentucky Virtual Library, and I want to show you how to get to the toolbox. I know that this says it's for librarians, but once you're in, you can use it. And this is what's really nice about it. So if I go to handouts and outlines, she not only provides you with a Word document so that you can edit it. And what I did is I uploaded it to Google Docs so I could edit it through my Google Docs and have a shareable link with you guys. So she's done scavenger hunts for different grade levels. And if you look at the scavenger hunts, let's just pick, we'll pick a middle school one. Okay. So if we look at the scavenger hunt, the way that it's set up, it talks them through using the virtual library. So open Britannica School. Okay, that's one of their databases. Next, search for, and then it tells you what to search for. Scholastic Go is one of the databases that she said recently has rolled off. So you may have to go through and use the Word file to edit. But you have all sorts of training handouts and things like that that you can use for elementary, middle, high school. You've got training outlines. I mean, it's just wonderful. If I were high school, if I was a counselor or I was a business teacher at the high school, I would come spend all day right here because you've got the scholarly research and authoritative sources from I mean, there's no better way to describe it except for that they're authoritative. You've got career and business. You've got resumes, job hunting, like how to do all this stuff because our kids just don't know. All right. And there's just so much. Like basically think of it like the individual learning plans that we used to do with our students. You've got access to all of those same types of standards right here for high school. Middle school, if you are science-based, social studies, writing, even some math things are here. And then of course, elementary. So those are that's our toolboxes. You also have a 4K through 12, and you can go over here. Now with our school, I showed them the research rocket, okay? And little neat thing about it, there is an assignment that you can get with it. But I found out this week that the Kentucky VL did not actually make this part. Someone else put it together and then I guess basically gifted it to them. So because they didn't do the programming, there might be like a glitch here and there. And then if that's the case, they can't fix it. But like right here, you would need your school username and password, which I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste. Okay. That is Harding pound K12. And then we need our password, which is roller skates #21. I do not make this stuff up. I don't know where it comes from. Okay. So see, that one didn't work. So she might not have this one updated because like I said, I found out that the rocket, the research rocket, they didn't actually make that. So I'm kind of leaning towards moving away from that. Let's show you the Learning Express library. So in the Learning Express library, you have EBSCOhost, you have promotional resources. So if I was a guidance counselor or business ed or any kind of high school teacher that's trying to promote these tests, I would be wanting to print those and get those out or put them all over my classroom in some way. Okay, here's math tutorials, writing skills. All right. So this is all for you guys. This is not for the kids. This is you gathering your information that you're going to share with them. So now let's talk about how to find books, right? So let's do the topic Kentucky. All right. I'm going to log in. Okay, so if I am doing nonfiction book reports, because I've researched the word Kentucky, I now can see everything that they have available about Kentucky. Books, articles, videos, okay, and the list goes on and on. So now what I can do is I can go to the most relevant pages of the book. I can look at page 7 history. Okay, so they give me a timeline, the history of Kentucky. Maybe one of the things that my students need to do is put a slideshow with a timeline together, and maybe they need to come look for their facts here. Maybe I'm teaching them how to cite their sources. So now I can tell them to click on the word cite and find the APA style or find the MLA style and copy and paste it into the text box. And then you know that they know what you're talking about because they've put it in the text box. I can also go back. I can get a PDF version. I can download the entire book and have it available on my computer for 3 months. And now maybe I don't want to share the whole book, but I do want to share Louisville. Or let's do the Kentucky Derby. Okay, that would be a big one because Derby is, in September, hopefully. And so we could talk about the history of the Derby. We could talk about tradition, state pride, things like that. And so now, though, I don't want to share the whole book, but I want a permalink. So I don't want this one at the top. Do not go there. I want the one that it just highlighted for me. And I'm going to right click. And then I can go in my classroom and copy and paste it. That's an option. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go to a new search. So I could do, let's do Martin Luther King Jr. I can now, again, see everything that's available related to Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, guys, these are real books. These are things that I have in my library at my school. Some of them are. And so it's great because the kids, obviously with everything going on, they've lost access to books. So we need to find a way to share these resources with them. So here we go. You can do most relevant, table of context, PDF. All right. Another way to do it, I'm going to try to show you EBSCOhost, Tumble, and Teen Books. Okay. So let's do. Okay. So right here, I've got these encyclopedias that are available for K through 12. And then let me show you EBSCOhost, Teen Book Cloud, and Tumble Book Library. All right. So EBSCO E collection is K through 8, so elementary and middle school. When you're in this, look at all of these great books that they're highlighting. Okay, you've got your math, you've got your nonfiction. Check out the study aids, the language. You've got religion, you've got health, you've got science. So it's just so many resources. You can see why you have to chunk the information for the students and walk them through this, because you can't just put a kid on here and be like, go to town. Now, let's go to our ebooks. We've got books on humor with jokes, a joke book. That's awesome. Let me see, children and young adult. 7th grade versus the galaxy. Map in the world, time traveler, construction zoo. Okay. These are just a few examples. Let's go to this one. All right. So this one has access. You can throw this into over here on the right. You can throw it into your Google Classroom, your Drive. You can add it to a folder. You can save it, cite it. Okay. If you create notes on any of the books, you have to remind your students, if they're creating notes, that they have to use the same device to log in every time, or their notes are not going to show up every time. You can get permalinks and then share those links in your classroom. So let's go to just this page right here. What I'm wanting to show you is how to get to the audio files. And not every book has an audio file. So this is right here. They can read it page by page, just like you or I would. They can move the page over with the plus or the minus, zooming in, zooming out. You turn the page with that. You can go to full screen if you want it. Leave full screen. All right. Let me find us a book with audio. One minute. I'm going to see, I don't know if it was in this database of books or if it was in one of the other ones, but give me one moment and I'll show you. That's not it. But right here we do have videos that you can look at. Now we're going to go, let's do Tumble Library. All right, this is what I want to show you. So Tumble Library equally has a variety of books, different levels of popularity even. You've got playlists that you can have under. So this is good if you are in a Google Meet and you know you need only 10 minutes worth of material. Like you finished everything early, so you're going to share a story with your kids. Under 10 minutes. There you go. Beautiful moon, block the sun, not the fun, things like that. So that's where the playlist comes in because it tells you how long they are. Okay. Then you've got language learners. So right now they're only offering Spanish and French. You have National Geographic videos. I mean, you cannot go wrong with National Geographic. And then we have nonfiction, graphic novels. I included information on the very last slide because the library is 1 out of 11 libraries that is participating in a comic book convention on the 30th. So I included information about that if you want to share that with your students and whatnot. And then we have read-alongs, okay, for our early readers, but we also have chapter books. We also have advanced readers and classics children's books. So let's go to classics. And let's see what our choices are. Let's do Treasure Island. Okay, so we have a read online. This is what I wanted to show you. Awesome. Okay, so in the read online, the green circles are how you turn the pages. The blue circle, and you may not hear it because of, I don't know, when it was demoed for me, I couldn't hear their sound, but they could hear it. So I'm hoping that you guys hear it. But you can hear the story. So all right. So we have students that we know are struggling readers, but we still want them to have access to our content. So because of that, we've got this play button. We've got audio. So you can expose them to a great classic right there. And then, let me see if I can move my share button out of the way. No, move over. All right, here we go. So you can also go to chapters. So I could assign chapter 1 on Monday of next week. Okay. So I'm at chapter 1. And then the next week I can go to chapter 2. And I can take my Tumble Book Library, copy and paste it, and only do a chapter at a time with the students. The kids can change the text when they read. They can change the color options. It will highlight the words that it's reading to them. Again, if they do notes, it's only going to save those notes on the device that they originally logged in on. So if they switch devices, that part's not going to do them any good. You can bookmark it. Lots of great things you can do with this. Okay, go, and that was Tumble Book Library, okay? Now, if I go to ebooks, look at this. I've got Kate DiCamillo, and I'm sorry, I just butchered her name. But she is the author of Because of Winn-Dixie. I know that at my kids' school, both of them going into, when they came out of third grade, they were so excited about this story. Well, guess what? They can now read it online. They can also take a quiz on it. So this is the part that gets a little bit more complicated, and you would want to do a screencast of some type with this. But I could take the quiz, and I can either take a full quiz or the randomizer short quiz. You will have to tell your students which one you want them to take. And now, so we're going to do this quiz. I think it's like 10 questions. All right. Everything's the last one today. Oh, it's more than 10. Okay, sorry guys. Here we go. Hang with me. Okay, so I only got a 13%. That's not very good results, right? But they can retake it. So if you want them to be able to retake things and improve, there you go. But now we're not collecting these papers, right? We're doing online learning most of the time now. So this is the part that you would need to teach your students. Teach them to save it as a PDF or save to Google Drive. If they save it to their Google Drive, they can then upload it to your assignment area and still be paperless. You still see the questions that they got wrong or right. And so all your data is still there. Okay, save as a PDF and upload it, or save to the Google Drive and upload it. Awesome, right? So they could take either the shorter or the longer quiz. Then you've got the book report option. Okay, so you could potentially go to this library and you could do a whole biography unit with all of your students, and they are only allowed to check out a biography and only allowed to do their book reports on biographies. Or if your book report is assigned for nonfiction books, they can come and they have access now to a whole library of books. So under book report, this is great too, differentiation. We all know all of our students have different skill sets. So you could differentiate the book report for a K through third student. You could give a fourth grade level book report. They have to go in here and answer questions. Let's see if I can. Okay. All right, thanks for your patience with that. But I just want you to see what it generates. Okay, so now I could go back and print the report, which I'm not going to do, right? Because I'm going to save it as a PDF or save it to my Google Drive and upload it to my classroom. But my teacher is going to make me a video that shows me how to do all of that first. So again, you don't want to just throw them out there because our kiddos will not cope. We know that, some of them. But awesome, right? We have so many options. It's just amazing. And then we have, okay, let me real quick, Tumble Math is related to Tumble Book Library. Tumble Book Library is not going anywhere, and it did tell me that Tumble Math is most likely going to roll off of the library at the end of August. Okay, so Team Book Club, This is where I would say a lot of the middle school and high school teachers might pull from. You have your audiobooks. Okay. You have nonfiction, drama, poetry, Shakespeare. You've got AP English. So many different levels. And now we can go back to the National Geographic videos, which would be great for science and social studies. More graphic novels. Enhanced ebooks. So enhanced ebooks, let's just go to Heidi. Heidi, we can read online. Okay, we can do it by chapter if we want it. Okay, all the same features I showed you earlier. Heidi, to us. I don't know if you can hear her reading or not. Hopefully you can. All right. So Team Book Cloud, that is, I mean, it's very similar to the Tumble Books. You have all of these things at your access. Common Core Portal. I have not played with this, but look at all your standards. Okay, so let's go to a 6th grade reading level 1 literature standard. Here's your summary. Here's all the books that you have access to that have that standard. So if you are mapping out your standards, you could literally just come on here. Let me show you that one more time. You could literally come on here and you can go to the Common Core portal under Team Book Cloud. You can find your standard. Let's go to a 9th grade one. Gives you a summary of the standard. And again, all the books that cover that standard. So these are major benefits to the Kentucky Virtual Library. All right, now let's make some time for you guys. All right, I'm going to quit presenting. And I'm going to let you guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and play with this. I'm here if you need me, and we'll just go from there. Are there any questions? So if you guys have questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. You can unmute. I like it when people talk to me. So if you want to talk to me and ask questions, if you guys want to start brainstorming with people from your own school or from your departments, that's totally okay. So the password and ID, I will put it in here for you. It's in your slideshow under the handouts. So everybody has the same password and the same user ID. The handouts that I gave you came from Kentucky Virtual Library. The only thing that I edited, because I used the Word ones and I uploaded them to Google Docs for today's purposes, is I added our ID and password that I just put in the chat. And I also gave credit to Ednid because she is just an amazing, amazing resource. Like, seriously, when I say she's the goddess of Kentucky Virtual Library, I am like trying to pay her the highest of respect. Oh, I wanted to try to show you one more thing if I can. Give me 1 second. I am going to try to show you how to pull up. Madison wants to know, will they ever add back Scholastic Go or put something else on there? I know, Madison. I'm sorry. I don't have any say over that. I'm just a big fan. What I'm going to show you, Madison, if I can get it to pull up, I am going to show you how, if you go to, let me check my notes, because she and I spent quite a bit of time on a Zoom this week talking about this, and I want to make sure I give you all the right information. 1 second. Okay. If you go up here to the quick search, you could do for kids, and then you could do your search that way. She did say, I believe, okay, Scholastic Go showing up today, but then when you go to it, it's not there. So she did say that you have access to all of these others, and you should be able to pull up back issues of different magazines. But of course, now that I am presenting, I don't see that feature. So my apologies. You have, guys, you have a research how-to for middle and high school. There's also one for elementary. She's got a tutorial. Let me see if this will pull it up. Okay. You're supposed to be able to search by publication. So I could do a search for audiobooks, ebooks, newspapers. I was looking for one for magazines because she did tell me it's here somewhere. So while you guys are exploring and looking at all the ways that you could start gathering things for your classroom, I'm going to try to figure that out for you. Let's see. Scope. She did tell me Scope and Scholastic Science, and some of these others are on here. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then, like I said, I'm going to keep my sound on and you guys can explore. If you guys find articles or ebooks that you're excited about, drop them in the chat here so others can see what we're looking at. I'm going to share one more time with you all. So a second ago, I went over here and I clicked on A to Z and it pulled up all of their databases. They also have a training calendar posted at all times. So the reason I wanted to show you the A to Z though is, let me show you what I came up with. I'm going to close out some of these windows. All right. The reason I did the A to Z search is because here in the A to Z, they may not have Scholastic anymore, and it looks like just since yesterday they rolled that off. But you've got Explora. So I just clicked on Explora for elementary, and it opened this up. And I can now go to biographies. I can go to geography, art, music, science, social studies. Okay. But I could have done the same thing for middle school. I could look up hurricanes if I wanted. I could do the Federal Bureau of Investigation, zoning laws, health, history, science, math. Edgar Allan Poe. That would be a good one, you know, during October to do with them. We've got Explora for high school as well, Explora for educators. Like there's just so many resources and it's free. So it's a great idea for us to use it as much as possible so that we don't lose it one day. You know, unfortunately, we live in a world where money doesn't come to us swiftly always. And if we don't use it, then people cut it out of budgets. And so the Kentucky Virtual Library is it's just such a wealth that I would hate to see it go anywhere. So you guys have about 18 minutes before the next session starts. So if you have questions, please ask away. If you want to share with me how you plan to use it, I would love that.
Be sure before you head out of this room that you do go fill out your link to get your PD credit for today. It's in the chat box. And thanks to Amanda for a great presentation on a resource that is probably underutilized.
There's a lot to it. Like, I mean, there really is. It's a great resource. It's K through 12, which how many resources do we have that can fit all of us and all of our needs? Hi, Candy. Stephanie, I would just say try it. Because if Edna doesn't have it, I would say try it. Also, something to think about, the public library is doing curbside pickup. So if they have a book and maybe you could do screencasts with it, but maybe the public library has an ebook version of it too. So I would utilize both of them as much as possible. You're welcome. All right, guys, you can just hang out. We're going to do Bitmoji at 2:30. So if you want to keep asking questions or working and posting links and whatnot, you're welcome to. But the next session does start at 2:30. Make sure you guys fill out the forms. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. I'm an email away.